There's a very famous situation.
Apple computers, when Steve Jobs first did it, but the board pushed him out.
So he was going about firing and hiring things and coming, and then he came back to Henry one day and said, there's one guy who, whenever I enter his office, he's got both his legs up on the table, he's smoking a cigar. I've never seen him doing any work.
I think a group cannot just be driven to be doing the same thing decade after decade. It has to reinvent itself, has to change with changing time. So the issue is that you need to sit back and ask, are you relevant in today's world? Are you doing things in a manner that is the best way to do it? It may be for environmental reasons, it may be for health reasons, it may be that you replace manpower with technology. What are you doing and how are you relevant in today's world? In that sense, you have to create an ability to look at your products, processes, your management philosophy, and ask yourself, do you need to change? Or do you need to evolve? Or do you need to improve? Sometimes improvement can be driven by competition, or it could be for other reasons. So you have to create an environment which can be critical of yourself, not misunderstood to be anti-corporate, but an environment that can say that we have been doing this for 20 years, and it's time we can do it another way. And you need to create an environment where someone who has been doing it for 20 years doesn't slap you down and say that, thanks, you've made your point, but we'll continue to do it the same way, or that we have billions expended in this area as legacy costs, which we're going to continue to retain. So I felt that the group that was by and large in traditional businesses should create an environment where one felt that the company was more nimble-footed and could look at reinventing itself or reinventing its products in a particular constructive way. So I made that one of the tenets of what we wanted to do, that we had to be innovative. Some of my colleagues went about that by deciding they would create a manual of innovation. I really don't believe that's the way to innovate. That's just, in my view, a contradiction. The innovation should come as part of an environment. I think where we're sitting today is innovation. We're expressing views in a manner that may not normally happen. We're doing it in an environment where different people have come together. That, in a manner of speaking, is innovation. That you're looking at things, you're opening yourself up to. I think, as Guru has mentioned, if you can't, control what you do yourself, how are you going to control others? So, I think companies have to destroy or demolish barriers that take place, that this is the way we do things. And we should be open to the smallest and the most seemingly irrelevant issues which foster change. And when you innovate, you ought not to be innovating for the sake of saying that you're innovating, or that on page 3, item 7C said this and that you did that, because that's not innovation. That's following a doctrine, and there is no doctrine for innovation other than the fact that you're open.
So there is one aspect which is seeking excellence in the systematic excellence, Tata business excellence model or whatever. In pursuit of systemic excellence, does it curb individual genius somewhere? Because being so big on innovation, you need a spark of genius here and there. So, systemic excellence definitely makes friction-free function, but at the same time it could become too sedate and there's no spark of genius. There's a very famous situation when Henry Ford was wanting to… saw that there is not enough excellence or efficiency in the system, he hired an efficiency expert who was given total freedom to go and change things and fire people that he has to fire without even asking Henry. So he was going about firing and hiring things and coming, and then he came back to Henry one day and said, there's one guy who, whenever I enter his office, he's got both his legs up on the table, he's smoking a cigar, I've never seen him doing any work, and people say I cannot fire him. So Henry asked, who is this guy? So he mentioned the name. Then Henry said, don't fire him. The last time he had his boots on the table and we were smoking cigar, he came up with $1 billion idea, don't touch him. So how do you manage between this pursuit of excellence and efficiency versus individual genius? I visited the Toyota plant in Bangalore, and on the shop floor, there's a walkway, there's a pathway, you have to walk only on that. Yeah. And when you want to… if you want to turn right, first you say this, and then you say this. Yeah. And you turn every time.
Yeah, and…
Okay.
And every time you go down a staircase, you must hold the railing. If you don't hold the railing, you're made to go up and again come back again. I'm saying wanting to systematize like this, it definitely curbs genius. So how do you balance between these two?
I think if you systematize to the extent that you just described, it's very difficult to also have a balance to innovation, because you keep going up and climbing down the stairs again, holding the railing each and every time. I think an environment of innovation is one where you may have safety, but you don't have a railing all the time to hold on to, and that you encourage people to go from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top, as the case might be, in a different way. Not endangering safety or throwing environment to the winds. So to your point, I think innovation has to be the environment that you create around yourself. You have companies where, just as you described, you have the guy that puts his feet up, who doesn't come to the office on time, who breaks every tradition that you have, but is worth his weight in gold because he can sit back and think of something which turns out to be $1 billion advantage to the company. If I might mention companies, Apple Computers was innovative when Steve Jobs first did it, but the board pushed him out because he was considered a failure and he was fired. And then the company brought him back as CEO when it was almost bankrupt some years later, and he built what today is probably the most valuable company in the world. And what he really did was he did everything different to what the book would say. He undertook his own merchandising and marketing with his own stores. He spent his time on doing something that most people would say would fail, and he had the inner courage to continue to do that. Is that innovation or stubbornness? I think, again, it would work for one person and not for another. But he created an environment very autocratically that opened innovativeness. And another example is Google today. Google is a true environment of innovation. It encourages thoughts to happen. Google X has been created to refocus on innovative new things that are being done. So you can create a less formal environment that is very innovative. Someone has to decide that we will invest in this innovation or not. And in not doing so, not kill this innovation, so that innovation may take another form. You may lose that person who goes out and pursues that innovation, and it comes to the market. You want to go to work feeling that you have the freedom to innovate. You're not in a box. You're not look left, look right, and then walk forward, or have to hold on to a staircase railing to go down, or you go back up. Those create very safe, very traditional environments. But if the company is the company that Toyota may be, it must have some little pocket somewhere that's innovating that doesn't have that. And then the next question you ask is, why should Toyota not have that everywhere? And maybe it happens in some areas and not in a foreign environment where they operate. I don't know.